way to strike responsibly, to strike with freedom, to strike with power. To ensure your voice is not just another voice in the background, to strike with X, to strike for the leader you want. Because tertiary education, despite all its challenges, it is your freedom, your choice. It is your future to change your life, to pave your future, to preserve it. Strike smart and let your voice be heard. Tertiary education is not easy.
Student of UKSN PMP and student of UKSN at large. My name is Siyabonga Mlondo. I've been entrusted by the EFFSC UKSN PMP to contest the portfolio of the campus chairperson. So basically, politics is a competition of ideas, of which those ideas, we must always align them with the black marginalized students and the community at large. So my manifesto is very broad. However, I will highlight fundamental points of which they complete a student. My first point is that of the registration. Under it is the issue of 15%. As the organization, we are very clear that we call for free decolonized education. However, in the midst of us trying to obtain free education, with regards to the issue of 15%, we are saying students that obtain 60% and above average must not be subjected to 15%. And students who are fully funded for 2022 and those of fee remissions must not be subjected to 15%. And all master's and PhD students who are still within their normal duration of their qualification and also doing well academically must not be subjected to 15%. For all those who do not qualify in the above points, but hired as RAs, tutors, mentors, and library assistants, must be allowed to register and sign the financial commitment with the university and pay through their salaries. Others who do not fit or being accommodated in the above points, their cases shall be dealt with in individual basis, because we believe that no student must be left out. Going to my second point, of which it is honoring the AOD. Students who sign an AOD at the beginning of the year were saying that if they tried to pay, but however did not complete their debt, they must not be forced to complete their remaining debt, because at least they tried, because we come from different financial backgrounds. So we are saying those students must be allowed to register, must be cleared. For those with no parents, no funding, but they are excelling academically, they are showing commitment and consistency, must be allowed to register, provided that they show supporting documents. Going to my third point, academic affairs. We've seen that 2021, we've had a very disastrous registration, of which sasingaphendulwa ama-ADOs enzo kwayo phendulwa late yonke lonto. Sibonile ukuthi lokho kudala ukuthi we are short staffed. That's why we are saying the number of ADOs per school must be increased from at least 1 to 10. Nakhona futhi we are saying the university must employ black South African masters and PhD students as ADOs. So for humanity, since in our 6 schools, and Klape, for example, we are employing 5 students per school. It means as the SRC, as the incoming SRC, we have created 30 jobs for our masters and PhD students. So moving forward to student services, the clinic must be open 24 hours. We are saying that the university must hire 3 professional nurses that will supervise lezi ngane lezi ezenza in nursing ezama 4 years ezenza ama clinical trainings ebhedlela nasema clinic sithina ayizingayi external azibe la eclinic clinic wethu ukuze clinic yethu ivule 24 hours so that sibe nesikhathi la khona sibe khona short staffed. So going forward to this thing of the external ambulances, I was saying as the FFSC, let's just insource ambulances. This thing of university spending 500, between 200,000 to 1.5 million to external ambulances. Let's insource ambulances. Take this 1.5 million, buy 2 taxis, buy 2 quantums, and change them into ambulances. It means that we are coming with permanent solutions. Let's university is a keeper per year. This 1.5 million, we charge 1.5 million to keep a per year, ni fund any postgraduates. So we are saying, with that being said, we are saying, Ufe delete must perform umsebenzi okade MI7. MI7 we patrol around the residences. If it is local, I go in. Since Ufe delete must perform umsebenzi okade yenziwa uLokhuzana MI7. Nakhona futhi we continue with this thing of insourcing because we believe in insourcing. Universities must have a highly trained grade A security unit coming from university itself. Ngalokho we are not going to externalize our funds to our private securities. So we are saying ukuthi by creating a highly trained grade A security established here like school, we are saying ukuthi even if it means ukuthi this established security company isebenze kwamanye companies and universities, lokho uzosilethela imali thina as UKZN of which low mali leyo we can fund postgraduates. Moving to my 5th point, which is postgrad issues. The admission of postgrad must be done 2 to 3 weeks before the actual registration. The fee remission must be extended to 2 years for masters and 4 years for PhD, because it doesn't make sense to go masters for 2 years and to go to remission you what. Also, if finally yakho awusanawo funding, it means manje uhlalekile. Was saying if umfundi is performing well, ngendlela yonke is performing well academically, mele remission iqhubeke ibu 2 years, because we can't just say ukuthi mele bayibonele after doing after phele unyaka abokuqala. So we're also saying ukuthi mayibe 4 years even for PhDs. The final submission dates for 2021, 3 December is so close, and students will need to raise imali yama editors. So we're saying ukuthi our final submission must be extended to the end of January 2022. And also the implementation of the language policy cluster and committees and proposal reviewers must not reject student proposal based on language, but they must do so based on context and content of each start. Students must be allowed even to use isiZulu as the language policy states. Moving forward to rest life. For example, if we have a and arrays out for array lot must be a student Lokhuzana in masters psychology. Sinjani senze ukuthi uma kunama cases of mhlambe suicide or depression, siyazi ukuthi within ama RAs there's umuntu trained or mhlambe ke or as masters owenza psychology who is going to attend lo mfundisi nje in just quickly nje uyayibona lonto le. Nakhona we are bringing experience kuma master students. We are saying visitors must be allowed whether they like it or not, even if it means we have to do it vigorously. This time around, as the incoming SRC, we're not saying we must submit memorandums. It's because some memorandums pay little, man. We want to work. We are young, we're very energetic. We want to fight if it means we have to fight. Moving to my second last point, fighting gender-based violence. We need to have a working policy to be in place in order to fight GBV in these universities. All GBV cases must be prioritized the same way university prioritizes illegal cases plagiarism. We're also saying international students, we are all Africans. We come from the same soil. If is applicable to black South Africans, it must also be applicable to Africans because we're coming from the same soil. So, all in all, we would like to encourage abafundi ngazo zonke indlela ukuthi basivotele ngomhla ka6 nangomhla ka8. Zonke lezi inkinga eqhamuka from the ground. Azange savuke kuseni sathi nje sinememorandum. sine manifesto. Lezi nkinga lezi ziqhamuka from the ground ezini we willing to work, we very young, we energetic, we resilient and consistent. Sicela lisinikeze ithuba ngomhla ka6 to mhla ka8 or October. Other than that nje inkosi mayibe nani ize inilondoloze #silondoloze. Thank you.
Tertiary education is not easy. It comes with its own challenges and frustrations. And sometimes you feel like your voice is not being heard and you are left with no option than to strike. Striking. What good does it do if you will end up banning the only thing that you have, your future? What if I were to tell you that you have a choice? A voice, a smart way to strike responsibly, to strike with freedom, to strike with power. To ensure that your voice is not just another voice in the background, to strike with X, to strike for the leader you want. Because tertiary education, despite all its challenges, it is your freedom, your choice. It is your future to change your life, to pave your future, to preserve it. Strike smart and let your voice be heard. Tertiary education is not easy.
Greetings everyone. Molweni othethayo nguMahlanga wakwaChabalala. The candidate for campus chairperson under the banner of SASCO. And lapha namhlanje kuzokuthula Manifesto. As we're already leading in the SRC, I think before ndithethe uba intoni ezithembisayo intoni esizoyenza, I'll have to firstly touch on our achievements throughout the year. The SASCO-led SRC have managed to accelerate 100% return to campus. The SASCO-led SRC have managed to raise a fund for bursary. Over 300 students from Westville are currently funded by the SRC bursary. We have managed to provide food parcels for students without funding. We have managed to improve laptop rollouts to NSFAS funded students. Njengoba nje between semester 1 no semester 2, sazi ngokujwayelekile kuye kuthi ngoJune to all students must go home kube compulsory. But this time around sathi no, ama students ayikhokhela the rest and no funds will be returned to their account. Hence it must be optional for a student to say ngiye ekhaya noma ngiyahlala. Once off reopening of NSFAS applications for rejected appeals and those who missed the application deadline.
Tertiary education is not easy. It comes with its own challenges and frustrations.
A reversal of residence fees for 2020 academic period. As we all know that students are in Somakaya because of COVID-19, and the regulations were not allowing all students to come back and occupy their residences. We then thought, Sati, students lawa ngahlalile emakhaya, those fees must be returned back to their accounts. 25% walawo ma-fees abuyiselwa kuma-accounts ama-students, akwazi ama-students ukulungisa ezinye inkinga ngaleyo mali. The implementation of GR18, special exams for students who are left with 1 to 2 modules to complete their degrees. We have managed to win 100% readmission of ISICOM for a College of Law and Management and Health Sciences. And also we have provided mentorship programs for first-year students. Now, what does a vote for USASCO means? A vote for SASCO means war on student debt. We commit ourselves that we will fight, we will question the management. Ekuthinini njengoba sesizotshela nge-student debt imali esiyikweletayo, other funds ayakuphi, because there are several ways esesilekelele ngayo into ye-COVID-19 and its regulations ekuthinini institution isave imali, but there is no transparency ekushiwo ukuthi lama funds ngoba i-graduation ceremony seyingasekho ahamba yokhava ukuthi lama funds ngoba ama-trip esencishisiwe ahamba yokwenza ukuthi, because at the end of the day we still pay full amounts regardless ukuthi sikhona emaresi, sikhona esikolweni noma sisemakhaya. If you are still registered, you are still going to pay 100% of those fees. 2, we have this major issue that is the main cause of all the issues that we have, our residence issues. We have a serious problem of the Department of Student Residence Affairs. How are we then expecting our students to perform adequately ehlala nga-4 emaromini? How are we expecting students ukuthi perform adequately ama-library esanesikhathi sokuvula nesikhathi sokuvala? How are we expecting students to perform adequately emabhasini kusahlanganiswa amaresi anama-students awu-500 neresi nama-students awu-400 ihlanganiswe ebhasini elilodwa? We are very much clear. Residences that are not conducive, we say no to them. Prayer residences, we say no to prayer. All the residences that students say asifuna ukuhlala khona, students must not be kept there. We say no to all forms of exclusion, primarily the academic and financial exclusion. Umikala, online learning, we were told that no academic exclusion will occur. And I believe there were valid reasons for that. But ithema seyibuyiswa sangasatshela lawa ma-ground lawayana awasekho yini ngoba seyibuyiswa. Sesifithi yini, awapha ama-measures athathiwe kwabonakala ukuthi njengamanje sesifithi ayibuswa academic exclusion. Standardization of security across campus and across all of campus residences. Patrol, fatality, we don't even know what iqashile infatality at school, because we know that RMS iqashile amabhilidi. Ama students abanjwe inkunzi within the property of this institution. So we are saying patrol ayibe 24/7 within this institution and outside. i-student entrepreneurship waseyi ngoba kuthiwa ke siyakweleta kule student debt esikhona awavulelwe ke ama-students aoccupy ama-shops laphaya those students who are willing and able ilekelelwe yiyona futhi institution ukuze sikwazi ukukhokha. On the 6th, on the 7th, umhla ka-8 October, across all UKZN campuses, ukusukela ku-central, ukuya ku-local, nakuma-college rep, make an educated vote. Vote for SASCO. Amandla. Thank you.
Tertiary education is not easy. It comes with its own challenges and frustrations. And sometimes you feel like your voice is not being heard and you are left with no option than to strike. Striking. What good does it do if you will end up banning the only thing that you have, your future? What if I were to tell you that you have a choice? A voice, a smart way to strike responsibly, to strike with freedom, to strike with power. To ensure your voice is not just another voice in the background, to strike with X, to strike for the leader you want. Because tertiary education, despite all its challenges, it is your freedom, your choice. It is your future to change your life, to pave your future, to preserve it. Strike smart and let your voice be heard. Tertiary education is not easy. It comes with its own challenges and frustrations. And sometimes you feel like your voice is not being heard and you are left with no option than to strike. Striking. What good does it do if you will end up banning the only thing that you have, your future? What if I were to tell you that you have a choice? A voice, a smart way to strike responsibly, to strike with freedom, to strike with power. To ensure your voice is not just another voice in the background, to strike with X, to strike for the leader you want. Because tertiary education, despite all its challenges, it is your freedom, your choice. It is your future to change your life, to pave your future, to preserve it. Strike smart and let your voice be heard. Tertiary education is not easy. It comes with its own challenges and frustrations. And sometimes you feel like your voice is not being heard and you are left with no option than to strike.
Special greeting to the entire population. It is with honor that I stand before you and present this manifesto. I am Damian Mukanzi, formerly deployed by SASCO as the incoming chairperson of Ukzn PMP campus. Firstly, I would like to applaud the 2020-2021 PCRC as led by Comrade Dushangas. Ngiphelelwa amazwi bafowethu. Kodwa ngaphezu kwakho konke ngidlulisa ukubonga. There are families whose lives will never be the same because of your dedication and service. And on that note, I wish you all the best in your future endeavors. In the leadership term of 2021-2022, we dedicate our service to the late Simphiwe Zuma, a former president of SASCO, who was dedicated to ensuring the prosperity of every student enrolled in higher education and training. Within the institution of Ukzn, there are doers and speakers, and SASCO will remain the only organization that goes an extra mile of not just speaking, but performing. This is the reason and the only reason why our students must continue rallying behind SASCO. This manifesto is divided into 4 subsections, which are categories of interest. I will start off with residence and private accommodation, which will be led by the capable hands of Comrade Thabani. On residences, we are saying that we are going to prioritize the rerouting of all buses to ensure that our buses collect students at major private accommodation roads, such as King Edward, Kapis, and Hutchinson. All off-campus residences must have Wi-Fi of the same standard and capacity as that of Ukzn data, while we are still on the road of ensuring that we install Ukzn data in all leased buildings. We'll be formulating the Private Accommodation Student Committee, PASCO, to address issues of students that reside in communes. In doing so, we will implement it in 2 phases. The first phase will be registering PASCO as a club and society in 2022. The constitution of PASCO has been drafted. PASCO will be allocated a budget from the SRC budget to perform all its daily operations and function. Phase 2 will be a long-term plan which will be achieved by making PASCO a committee working with DSRA, just like you do so with HASCOMs. To increase safety and security of off-campus residencies. This will be achieved by the university giving landlords a list of security companies or requirements that must be met before any lease is approved. We will ensure that the contracted security company, in this case Fidelity, patrols our roads 24/7 to reduce crime as opposed to the 12 hours which it currently patrols now. We will ensure that all goods stolen in the university, whether it be leased residences or university leased residences, if there is a sign of forced entry, the university must reimburse those goods, because at that position we are clear that the student was not at fault and should not suffer for the incompetency of the institution. We will be getting rid of all leased buildings that are multi-purpose buildings, because they pose a great risk on the safety of our students. This includes residences such as permanent building, and will be investing in an additional 3,000 beds that are owned by the institution. On academics and transformation, this will be led by all our college reps as well as Comrade Stabile Ngongo on executive. Elections of class reps must be made part of the sessional dates so that the list of class reps must be sent to the SRC to ensure that we elect school and college representatives on time. We'll be improving communications between class representatives and SRC because this will allow a proper channel of addressing issues. We'll be prioritizing the building of lands on residencies to avoid a congestion in the main campus lands. This has become more essential now that we find ourselves in a pandemic that does not promote areas of a lot of people. The academic exclusion of the university cannot be left untouched because if you look at it as it currently is, the university plays no part in rehabilitating of our students. We believe that this form of policy is so anti-students and a sign that the university does not want to take pride in its students, including students who are showing signs of not performing well. This will be achieved by providing jobs for excluded students and also providing students with non-degree purposes modules which are linked to their curriculum. On postgraduate funding and funding, allow me to take my time on this one because it is quite fundamental and important. We will ensure that PGCE and PGDA students are funded by UKZN bursary, mainly because UKZN is not NSFAS, and therefore there is no need for them to use the very same guidelines that NSFAS uses. The SRC Trust Fund is up and running, and to ensure that it is sustainable, we will ensure that 25% of all jobs done through the procurement process goes towards the trust fund. But we are more than ready. We will ensure that UKZN implements a business model that will be aimed at ensuring that it becomes the main funder of the SRC fund. The capital for this model will be collected from UKZN Management, UKZN Foundation, and UKZN Incubate. The model will ensure that 80% of people employed are former and current UKZN students. The model will also ensure that 70% of people in management level are youth, and by that I mean 35 years and more. Just to show you an example, the UKZN brewery team has over the years been winning the SAB competition. That tells you that we have enough expertise to formally participate in the brewery of this country. Now, if that were to be incorporated as a business model, I do not see how students will not be funded. I will stop there. In the interim, there is a need to generate quick funds for the 2022 registration period. This will be achieved by having the Make a Professional TV or university show. To achieve this, we'll be engaging corporate relations to try and get a competition ad weekly for people to participate in a lucky draw to win gifts by sending an SMS costing as little as R2.50 and stand a chance to win gifts such as laptops, smartphones, data bundles, and many more. We will be engaging companies such as Telkom, Vodacom, Celsi, and MTN to be potential funders. Depending on the proposal and how it is received, we will decide whether it will be implemented on a university or a national scale. To address 15%, we propose that everyone that has full tuition funding is not forced to pay their outstanding fees. Continuing PhD and master students that are still the minimum required, that is 4 semesters for masters and 6 semesters for PhD, not to be forced to pay 15%. In line with Inspiring Greatness, we propose that all students who have second lower division average not be subjected to paying 15%. The N+1 rule, which will come to effect in 2022 as planned by NSFAS, is fully rejected, and we will be engaging to ensure that it has no place within our institution. All students must receive 1 academic record per semester for free upon request. On health and safety, this will be led by the capable hands of Comrade Thando Ndebele. Gender-based violence is a crisis in our country, and it's disappointing that the university does not have a clear policy in addressing this matter. So to reduce and prevent gender-based violence, we propose that the university introduce a 0-credit gender-based module that will be done by everyone. The module will include a flow diagram of how gender-based cases should be handled. It will also introduce elements such as what constitutes harassment and violence. We're saying that the university must invest in sports. The sports union must have a wing that will cater for disability unit students that are involved in sports. The Ukzn clinic must operate for 24 hours. This can be done in partnership with the College of Health Science and engaging government on a provincial level. The disability lands that have been renovated for the past 2 years must be prioritized for completion in 2022. The conversion of books and study material to content which students can use take way longer than required. Therefore, we will ensure that the university employs more people that will be able to perform this job. To ensure more on safety, we'll be requesting that the university provide students with mobile panic buttons that students can press at any case of emergency. Ours is clear. SASCO is the only nation that prioritizes students. Vote SASCO, vote SASCO. Enda.
Tertiary education is not easy. It comes with its own challenges and frustrations. And sometimes you feel like your voice is not being heard and you are left with no option than to strike. Striking. What good does it do if you will end up banning the only thing that you have, your future? What if I were to tell you that you have a choice? A voice, a smart way to strike responsibly, to strike with freedom, to strike with power. To ensure your voice is not just another voice in the background, to strike with X, to strike for the leader you want. Because tertiary education, despite all its challenges, it is your freedom, your choice. It is your future to change your life.